What's up guys, Stealthy here, back with another video for you guys. Today we are going to be playing this ramp deck right here. Since Elsa Bloodstone just got released a few days ago and is very prevalent in the meta, people are playing a lot of kitty prides and various things, decks that play a bunch of cards out and across multiple turns. So in order to kind of counter that, we're going to be playing Sandman. I know a lot of people tend to hate Sandman, but I enjoy his effect. I don't feel like it's super powerful, but when I'm playing him, it feels like you're really getting to control your opponent and their plays, which is obviously the idea with him, slowing them down. So the idea of this deck is pretty cut and dry. Turn 1, you're looking to drop your Sunspot or your Nebula to kind of have some scaling 1-drops. Turn 2, we clearly don't have a turn 2 play, so at that point we're just scaling our Sunspot, or hopefully scaling our Nebula, or maybe we're dropping one of them because that's what we draw for our turn 2. Then turn 3, we're going into Electra or Wave. That way we can set up our Sandman on turn 4, which is idealistic, or if we wave early and we don't have Sandman, we can drop something like a Doom or a Leader, so that way on turn 6 we can re-trigger those effects. We've got Jubilee in here to kind of draw all of our big costing cards. I mean, when 7 out of 12 of our cards are 5 or 6 cost, she's always going, well, not always, but the majority of the time she's going to hit something pretty big. We've got Vision because when we start playing one card at a time out, it's nice to have that control to move him around and in lanes that are difficult to get into. Similar concept with Doom, getting us into lanes we can't get into. And then our kind of closers are Arrow and Leader. So if we've got Sandman down, forcing our opponent to only play one card. If we're ahead in 2 lanes, we can just arrow that one card into the lane that they're winning. Or we can always just Leader to copy the card our opponent would play, thus rendering them not a chance to win. So this deck can be kind of annoying to play against when we get Sandman down. I know from experience playing against Sandman, if your deck doesn't have ways to kind of play around that, he can be very debilitating and kind of hard to play into. So that's kind of our hope with the playing Sandman right now, is that he's just going to be really good going into all of the Elsa Bloodstone bounce decks or the Sarah decks that are kind of trying to run her too. So without further ado guys, let's go ahead and jump into some matches, see if we can't climb up the ladder a little bit and get back towards our infinite that we were last season. Alright, so our first match, we're up against Vedic. We got our turn 1 drop in Sunspot, which is perfect because we can go the turn 2 float into Electro, and then our turn 4 Sandman. And we've got Leader for 5, or we can save our Leader for 6. So I'm really liking the way our hand is looking right now, so I think we're going to go ahead and snap on this. It's nice to get the Electra out of our opponent's hand, because they could have just killed off our Sunspot if they had just held on to that, but they didn't. So we're going to float. So definitely seeing a very Zeus-style deck from our opponent. So Sandman's going to be very debilitating for them. Lemuria is very annoying for us because it slows down our Electro, and so we're really just going to get Sandman out on turn 5 like we normally would. At this point, it's we got to kind of think about if we even want to drop Sandman on turn 5. We'll just have to look and see what our opponent has played down at that point. To kind of help solidify this left lane for us, I think we're going to go ahead and drop Electro. And then since he's not going to reveal, our next turn is probably going to be Nebula floating 3. Or maybe if we're lucky, we can draw into Jubilee and we can pull something out that way as well. So we didn't get lucky in drawing the Jubilee. So we're just going to drop Nebula in one of these 2 lanes here. Or since our opponent's filling this lane up pretty quickly, I think just putting Nebula and trying to solidify that left lane is actually an okay idea for us. So yeah, with our opponent dropping Bishop, they're definitely planning on playing out a bunch of cards. So it sucks that we weren't able to get Sandman out a turn early, that we railed into the Lemuria, but getting him down now is still okay. With the Electro, we're floating 1 for our Sunspot, which is helping us to win out the left lane. And maybe Nebula can get some buffs here and really try and push that win for us. We've always got Doom as well, so we can spread our power across 3 lanes.
I am Iron
Seeing
Man.
Iron Man come down from our opponent. So they can only play 1 card. At this point, since we're winning 2 lanes, and Doctor Doom would actually be more than the Iron Man and Lemuria, we're perfectly fine with doing this. This splits our power across 3 lanes, and our opponent only being able to play 1 card. This should win us this round. Sure enough, our opponent retreats.
Victory!
We're feeling very good about that. Doom was definitely going to win us that match. So Sandman obviously carried that round. We got him down a turn late, but even with being down a turn late, only having 1 card that our opponent could play, they had no way of winning multiple lanes because we had the Doom follow-up. So 2 cubes is nice. That's a good start for our climb back. Let's go and jump into another one. Alright, our next matchup is up against AGMP. We've got Electro in our opening hand, which is kind of nice, especially rolling into Oscorp Tower because we can hand him that Electro, so we don't even have to play Sandman in this instance. So we gotta snap on seeing Oscorp Tower, because being able to get that +1 energy and then throw him the Electro, causing him to only be able to play 1 card per turn, he might just leave after that. Especially seeing Bass, our opponent's probably playing a bounce deck of some sort. So this is a very feel-good moment for us right now, because he's just not going to be able to do anything when we send him this Electro. So floating 2 is fine. We see the Elsa Bloodstone. This is going to be... he's not ready for what we're about to do to him. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have some sort of Scarlet Witch or something to flip this. Scarlet Witch or Storm could flip this and cause us a few problems, but if he doesn't, we're in really good business right now. Sure enough, our opponent's just looking to duplicate the Bloodstones, and so now he'll only be able to play 1 card per turn, which will be very rough for our opponent. So I think we're okay with just dropping Vision at this point. Our next turns can be Doom into Odin and just pretty much win out these lanes. Doesn't even really matter where we play Vision at this point. I think we're okay with just dropping him left. So another Elsa Bloodstone by our opponent. It's fine by us. At this point, we might even just leader. We'll drop leader left because our opponent's probably going to play something mid, and it's going to be a very large card, and then we'll be able to copy it whatever it is. So it's just a Mysterio, but we're going to get all of the... we're going to get a 9-powered Mysterio. So then at this point we can slide Vision mid, brings us up to 19, and then if we Odin, we can copy whatever large card our opponent plays. So I'm feeling like this should be an 8-cube win for us, but we'll have to see what our opponent pulls out of the hat. Giving our opponent this Electro has felt really good. So he replays the 9-powered Mysterio. Sure enough, we win mid, we tie right, and we win left. So a very good outcome for us.
Victory!
We love to see that. Got an 8 cube, so now we're up 10 cubes on 2 wins. We'll go ahead and jump into another one for you guys. Might be the last one, but we'll see. Alright, we are up against Flower Boy. Let's see if we can't get 3 wins in a row. Elysium is actually, it's not bad for us. I wouldn't say that it's great either. If we happen to draw into Sandman and we can get him down a turn early, then we're okay with that. Having Nebula is fine. We'll drop Nebula to the right. 3 cards coming out by our opponent. Okay, so they're definitely probably a Bloodstone deck. This is also very indicative of Loki. So with that in mind, I think we will drop Sunspot right, and we're going to go ahead and wave. We can do something, like we can go into leader. Our opponent might play Loki into our wave play, which I don't think we're too worried about, because we can always just take whatever the Loki gives us. Because at this point we haven't played Sandman or Electro, so we're fine with having extra cards. Okay, so Lamentus is very interesting for us. We tend to have the larger cards and we have the leader. Our opponent, I forgot that she set everything to 4, so nobody's playing anything. I think we snap on this though because it gives our Nebula a +2 buff, and we're giving our Sunspot +3. Then we've got Vision and Arrow, and we've got Leader. We've got all of the big card follow-ups for this. So, like I said, I think we're completely okay with dropping Vision at this point. We can move him wherever we need him to be. Cosmo's fine by us. So our opponent still has 5 cards in hand. I think we try and force them into filling up this lane. So we're going to arrow over whatever they play. They fill it up themselves. Phoenix forced into a Loki. So at this point, we have to, at minimum, go up by 6 in this right lane. We can slide Vision. We can play Leader. That's not going to win us another lane, though. Leader's not looking too promising for us. So at this point, I think we go Electro Valkyrie. And then I think we hold Vision mid. Because I feel like our opponent's going to give up mid. They're going to play left, which they have priority. And it could just be, it could be a Dino. They could actually just drop a Dino mid. Or well, our opponent Loki'd us, so it's not going to be a Dino of some sort. It's going to be something that we played. So I actually think Vision right is actually going to be better for us, moving him over. So our opponent will actually win out because they're able to play down 4 cards. I don't know that we should have stuck in this one to begin with. But yeah, we definitely should have left for this one. I don't know why I stuck in this game. There was no way we were gonna win this one. I should have left long before we ever got to this point. So we ended up losing 4 cubes. So we're back down to netting 6 across 3 games, which is fine. I should have left back when it was at 2 cubes. I don't even know why. Probably shouldn't have even snapped on the Lamentus. I could have left out at 1 cube. But you live and you learn. Obviously, I'm not a perfect player, evident here in this game. But we still, across 3 games, gained 6 cubes, which is a great thing for climbing. If we can keep that pace up, we will be back to infinite in no time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Ramp is something that's kind of falling out of the meta. It's not been seen, but I feel like it could come back in. Eliath is another great card to add into your ramp deck. I'm personally not a fan of Eliath. I feel like he's a very annoying and oppressive card. And I just don't own him because I never wanted to get him in the first place. But if you guys do have him, he is a great card to put in ramp decks, obviously, because he can just kind of solidify wins, similar to how we're doing with Arrow and Leader. So it would probably be a case where you want to replace Leader for Eliath. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all in the next one. See you guys.